Good morning. It's Thursday, November 14th. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. I'm Sade Campbell, and I serve as the Enrollment Communications and Social Media Manager here at HCC. Pleased to be joined by my co-host, Ms. Linda Davis, who serves as the HCC Office Manager for our Northeast College operations. And she is going to kick things off by telling everybody how to find us.
Good morning. We're live on Houston Community College's district Facebook page, Not HCC, and YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and HCCTV at noon, 5 and 10, Monday through Friday.
All right, well, today we'll be spotlighting the work of some folks that we may take for granted, but it is so important when you need it. We'll be talking to our computed tomography department in our second segment. But first, we're going to kick things off with our Thursday Family Fun Day guest. We're talking to a nonprofit that's also Houston's oldest continuously operating opera. Here to join us to talk about it is Joe White, the president of Gilbert and Sullivan Society of Houston. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Sade.
So happy to have you. And you and Linda, I am handing off to have a great conversation.
Thank you.
Well, Joe, we're so happy to have you this Thursday Family Fun Day morning. And let's begin at the beginning and tell us, how long have you been around?
In 1951, a group of friends, which included John Cooper, who is the head of the Kincaid School, Dr. Merrills Lewis, who is the head of the music department at the University of Houston, Eleanor Miller, who is the music teacher at Kincaid, and several other folks, decided to be a fun thing to do to put on a Gilbert and Sullivan show. Gilbert and Sullivan were the Lin-Manuel Mirandas of their day, wrote a series of 14 operas in the late 19th century that were huge international hits. And they loved the operas, and they put one on. For costumes, they hung name tags around their necks to show which characters they were playing. And they did it at the old Kincaid Auditorium on Richmond Avenue, and had such a good time. They founded the group in 1952 as the Gilbert and Sullivan Society of Houston. So for over 70 years, we've been putting on these operas once a year in the summer, and have gone from the Kincaid campus to the University of Houston campus at the Cullen Auditorium there. And then when they opened Jones Hall in 1966, we were invited to be one of the first nonprofit groups to perform there. And then we were in Jones Hall until 1986, and we were the first group to perform in the brand new Cullen Theater at the Wortham Theater Center.
Wow.
We've been building from this basic name tags around people's necks to fully staged operas with professional orchestra members and professional stagehands, everything highest artistic caliber. We've had one show that was recorded in the 70s and was nominated for an Emmy for a production.
Well, yeah, I understand you've won a couple of awards, one international award, and opened some of the best known theaters. But tell us a little bit about the international award.
Well, we have been to the International Gilbert and Sullivan Society Festival in England 3 times so far, and have won numerous individual and group awards, including the best production.
So do you do a different one of the Gilbert and Sullivan operas every summer?
We do. There are 11 operas that we do. There are 2 that we've not done yet, and there's 1 that is lost, so no one can do it. But each summer we do a different opera. This past summer we did Ruddigore, and this coming summer, 2025, will be in the Zulka Hall at the Hobby Center doing Iolanthe.
That sounds very interesting. And I understand you've given back as well, awarding scholarships to young performers. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, in the 1960s, we started awarding scholarships to musical students and technical theater students. And since then, we've awarded over $125,000 in scholarships and grants. And we continue to do so to this day. We have 2 scholarships currently: our general scholarship for undergraduate performing majors in voice, and we have a newly established Mary Metz scholarship for young artists who are getting their master's degree or pursuing the career already.
That is amazing. So, on that note, I guess you rely on the kindness, wink, wink, of strangers, so to speak, to keep the doors open. Tell us a little bit about those efforts.
Well, as all nonprofit performing groups know, ticket sales do not cover the cost of production. We tried to maintain our ticket prices to make them affordable for the general public as best we can, but costs are ever rising. And renting halls in downtown Houston and hiring orchestra musicians who work for the unions and the stagehands, it all comes at a cost. But to do that, we rely on the generosity of folks who love this art form and foundations. The Cullen Trust of Performing Arts has been very generous to us over the years. And with all these folks' helps, we're able to bring these productions at the highest artistic level for Houston audiences to enjoy.
So I hear you have a fundraiser that's coming up that might be able to help you out with that a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your fundraiser.
So last year we had one of our board members, Sarah Lee, had noticed that there was a huge explosion in interest in Mahjong across the country. So she started a Mahjong and Mimosas fundraiser. We held it at Houston Country Club last year, and it was a huge success. People were clamoring for it. It was mimosas, so people liked those things. Breakfast, we had Christmas carols sung by performers from the society. And people were just saying, oh, this is a wonderful event. We had so much fun. Please have it again next year. So we're obliging them. It will be again on Thursday, December the 5th, over at Houston Country Club. And the full information and access to buying individual tickets or tables of four can be found on our website, which is hgns.org.
Awesome. Can we hear that website again?
hgns.org.
Oh, that's great. Now I have a question. I'm just curious. What is the average age group of a performer for opera? Because when I think of opera, I think of opera. So, how do you target younger participants to get involved or engaged?
Well, opera in general, people think of it as stuffy and inaccessible, but a lot of it isn't. Some of it is, but so much of it is so readily speaks to the human condition, and the Gilbert and Sullivan operas in particular do so. They are in English. They are comic in nature. The comedy, even though it's starting 150 years ago, it is still fresh and relevant today. And the music of Arthur Sullivan, he was the finest composer in England in the late 19th century. He studied in Leipzig at the first Felix Mendelssohn scholar. And the music is just so enchanting that once people are exposed to it, they want to get more. You asked about the performers' ages. Our performers range in age from those who are still undergraduates at the Moore School at U of H and at Shepherd School at Rice to long-established professionals. Richard Paul Fink was one of our leads this past summer, and he's had a career throughout Europe and sung at the Met in New York City. And he's a bit older, but we have a wide variety reflecting the whole human condition.
Well, I tell you, this is very interesting to me. And on a personal note, I have a son, he's 19, and he, in his junior year of high school, decided to try theater. Went out, he's a kind of to himself kid, went out there in Cinderella and played the king. He wanted to be the prince, but he was typecast because he was too big. Went out there and just killed it. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, is that my kid? And the thing I guess I was so excited about is because when he went to UIL, he was the first name they called for award for for the 5-minute play act thing they did. And I was over the moon. And then he came to HCC, to our arts program, and he decided he wanted to try film acting. And I was excited. I'm going like, go for it, go for it, go for it. So, I was thinking about that and him and opera and trying to help him nurture that seed. So that's why I asked about the age. It was personal as well as for everyone else, because when I think of opera, I do think of an older generation. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure. And as someone who has played the king in Cinderella over at Hits Theater at Miller Outdoor Theater, I applaud your son for his doing it. But again, whenever people of any age, when they get exposed to this art form, it just draws them in. And I've had people some people had thought that, oh, we're an amateur group. Well, we're anything but, because we're not the Houston Grand Opera, we're not the Houston Symphony, but we're still, all of our performers are compensated. Again, is professional on every level.
Awesome.
And it gives a lot of young performers an opportunity to perform on these great stages in downtown, giving them a real taste of the performing life.
Awesome.
And
well, we want to thank you, Joe White, president of Gilbert and Sullivan Society of Houston. We'll have your information in the post after the show. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break with Sade and Theresa Lobrin, the community tomograph or CT clinical coordinator for Houston Coleman College of Health Sciences. That's a mouthful, but hang on, we'll be right back.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
It's really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
All right, welcome back. I am here with Theresa Lobrin, who serves as the Computed Tomography, or CT, Clinical Coordinator for our HCC Coleman College for Health Science. Welcome to the show, Theresa.
Hi, thank you.
All right, well, Coleman has partnered with HCA, Hospital Corporation of America, for its CT program. How's that been going so far?
It's actually doing really well. We relatively started with the Houston local area and expanded nationwide with them. So Hospital Corporation of America has gone east, north, west, and south. And so we have branched out currently to about 50 of their students nationwide. So it's relatively growing. There is a need for as well as for all healthcare employees, but we were lucky enough to have a partnership and an internship with HCA Corporation. So that just maybe started a couple years ago, and it started with maybe 4 or 5 students. It rapidly expanded to 10, 15, 20, and now we're at 50.
All right, well, for those who may not know, I think we need to go back a little bit. Computed tomography. We may have experienced it, but we may not fully understand it. So it sounds like we may hear it as a clinical coordinator, but what does computed tomography, what is it? What do they provide patients?
So computed tomography is part of the medical imaging allied health section. And what we do is we're advanced x-rays, and we use electron beams to create functional 3D images. So we get the exact precise image of the body, internally, externally. We can remove skin, we can look at muscles, we can look at tissue, veins, organs. Everything is precise in measurements. And we help diagnose information that the radiologist can't see on a traditional X-ray. So it's more of an advanced X-ray machine that we're using.
And you said something that it was critical for diagnosing certain issues with different patients, right?
Correct.
So
yes, so we do help with the initial diagnosis. So that the traditional X-ray, they'll go into further imaging, whether it's CT, MRI, ultrasound. But traditionally, they'll use CT because it's quicker. MRIs take a little bit longer. Not everybody qualifies for an MRI. Ultrasound, they might not be able to see sharpest image, but CT gives them the exact precise measurements of what they need. If they do see, let's say, a focal spot or an item that's present in the X-ray, we verify it with the CT, and it helps with their clinical diagnosis.
So everything you're saying would essentially mean that this technology is in high demand, I would assume, specifically in hospitals, and that there is a current shortage that HCC is helping to fulfill within the industry.
Correct. With any allied health field and every healthcare, there is a shortage, especially COVID. A lot of people retire. There's so many baby boomers that are retiring right now in the industry. And so our traditions are moving to different modalities to enhance their career paths. We offer a certificate with HCC, and that certificate allows them to practice, and it allows them to educate themselves and bring out their inner level of X-ray and expertise to help diagnose these patients. We literally put them on the patient. It takes probably less than 5 minutes to do an exam from head to toe. They get those exact precise measurements, and they're looking at any abnormalities that are inside of the body.
And so you said that this was a certificate, which means that it's a short-term academic pathway to entering into the career field. So how long do students stay in the program?
So our program, once they complete the registry for X-ray or nuclear medicine or ultrasound or MRI, and they are certified through ART or NMCTV or RDMS, then they can take our certificate, which is a one semester course. So they have 4 courses. We have RADR 2340, which is cross-sectional. We have our methodology class, and then we have clinical courses that they must complete in order to get that certificate. So it's about 12 credit hours that they'll be receiving in one semester.
Okay. And spring registration is open. So if anybody is listening and they are hearing, they may or may not have those prerequisites, what steps should they take to start this spring?
Definitely need to reach out, and they can go to the HCCS website under radiology. We have our CT application there. They fill out that application. It goes directly to our counselors. Our counselors vet it out to me to see if they qualify, if they don't qualify, what characteristics that they might need in order to qualify for the courses. But if they're still currently enrolled, then we allow them to finish their ART, get licensed, and then continue on to our program. But I have to vet through that, as well as the counselors do as well.
Okay, so it sounds like that someone that is in the prerequisites, right? And I don't want to name the program because I may get it wrong. If they're in a current program that serves as a prerequisite to the certificate, should they add the CT certificate to their studies?
Can, once they are fully registered under the what we call the American Radiologic Technologist licensing, then they can apply for the CT. It's a second modality, but they do need to have all the prerequisites for either ultrasound, nuclear medicine, radiation therapy, or MRI.
All right, and for students who are thinking about this spring, it's my understanding that there's a grant opportunity.
There is. So we have partnered up, and our continuing education services have reached out to lenders, funders, and they have offered 46 students to get their tuition paper for free for the spring of 2024. 5. So if there are registered X-ray technologists, registered MRI techs that want to go and continue to do X-ray or CT, then they are able to qualify as long as they apply for our spring 2025 program.
All right, we want to thank you so much. We've been talking to Theresa Lobrin, who's HCC Coleman College's CT clinical coordinator. We'll have information posted about the show, about that grant, and about opportunities for spring. And we just want to thank you for joining us, Theresa.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. And we appreciate all the efforts and the needs to get all of our support and students to come and join us for Coleman.
All right. Thank you so much. After a commercial break, Linda will discuss. After a commercial break, we'll come back with news and announcements.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me and then you just linked arms with me. I don't think you know how much like that helped me. I finally like knew that I had somebody.
All right, well, welcome back. We're going to wrap things out like we always do here on Up to the Minute with news and announcements happening across the college and in our community. First up is for our HCC graduates. Listen, the deadline to register to walk in the ceremony, toss that cap, is tomorrow. So we want to make sure you don't miss this. Check your HCC student email. Make sure that you meet the deadline to register for the commencement ceremony. Details on how to register will be posted after the show.
It is student juried exhibitionist at the Northwest reception. This exhibition and reception will celebrate studio artwork from Spring Branch, Katy, A-Leaf campus. Awards will be given in design, drawing, painting, digital media, and printing. Exhibition November the 18th through December the 6th. Reception/awards are from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Tuesday, November the 19th. At the Spring Branch campus. The exhibition is free, so check out our post after the show for more information.
All righty then. Well, it is Wonderful Wednesdays at HCC Southeast, and you're wondering what would be wonderful on a Wednesday? Being able to land that dream job. So students in the market for a job can meet employers hiring for part-time and full-time positions happening every Wednesday. This helps them explore prospects and discover new career pathways. It'll be happening Wednesday, November 20th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Gratitude and growth and discovering your career path will be the theme. It'll be in the HCC East Side Student Life building. Be sure to check the details posted after the show.
Financial aid for spring is here. Woo! Don't let costs hold you back. With spring 2025 just around the corner, students can make sure they're set up for success by exploring financial aid options to help cover their educational expenses, from grants to scholarships to loans and work-study programs. There are resources available to help cover costs, so don't let costs hold you back. Check out our post after the show for more information and registration.
All right, well, the annual Thanksgiving event at our Southeast campus will be happening, hosted by Student Life. Don't miss this evening of fun activities, giveaways, and music for the whole family. It'll be happening on Thursday, November 21st from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at HCC Eastside Student Life building. The program is free, so be sure to check the details posted after the show to participate.
So not only is financial aid available now, spring registration has also begun. Registration for spring semester is going on right now, with classes being offered in a variety of programs and in various semester lengths. HCC courses are also offered in a range of modalities, including online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, face-to-face, and partially virtual, in-person, and hybrid labs. To learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover costs such as financial aid, visit us at hccs.edu/apply.
All right, well, coming up tomorrow, we'll welcome HCC's dual credit program to discuss a special event happening this weekend and more. And for Film Friday, we'll be talking about the upcoming Greek Film Festival. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. We'll see you next time.